You're listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Okay. I think we got through the technical difficulties here at Sweep the League. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there. For whatever reason, our intro music, I might have had a glitch on the internet part here, but let me know how you guys are hearing it out there. If everything's good, we'll go ahead and continue. If you can tell, shout out, man. It's a USOA Unite type of night for us here at Sweep the League. Shout out to the USOA, the Heffa himself, the man, the myth, the leader of it all, Chris Leha. Appreciate the shirt, man. Appreciate the shirt. Also got a nice little bottle from Chris. Nice little tequila bottle. So definitely gonna be taking some of that in this weekend here. Let's get Coach Gio in. But shout out to USOA, United Teachers of America. If you don't know, what is it? It's no feelings, only chaos. And that's the way that these guys end up working. But let's bring in Coach Gio here. Coach, we had a little bit of technical difficulty. I don't know if I should rerun the intro again. It didn't even it worked, but did it. So I don't know if we had a hiccup somewhere, man.
Oh, I thought you were doing an AARP commercial.
No. Yeah, I had my senior moment, dude, is what I had probably going on, man. Dude, what you been up to, man? I haven't seen you in a while. It's been like, I don't know, 5 days, 6 days since you've been on Sweep the League. I mean, I know the checks are clearing because my bank account
was it. Well, I was on Friday or Thursday?
You weren't on Friday. You left me hanging on Friday. So your afternoon delight show didn't even come to fruition. I had to do a night show that night.
And then Monday, Tuesday. Well, the weekends don't count, so it's only been probably 4 days, actually.
But you know, what's sad is everybody is starting to believe, Jeff, that I completely own you on sports talk.
Jeff is just trying to build some sort of narrative. I guess he's not liking the new Star Wars show, so he's coming after me now. So
have you seen The Acolyte? I have yet to see it.
I've seen some of it. I think I watched
Is it good?
First two. It's okay. I think it's fine. I do think people in the Star Wars community is not very pleased it's getting ripped. Every video I see of it, it's pretty bad. So I assume it's not doing too well. So, but it's been okay. Not sure what to make of it. I feel like it's being too much, and we're looking just for something to. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing at Disney.
Can they just do a whole nother Star Wars, movie? It's like, I understand you've got Skywalker, Skywalker trilogy, and then, you've got, the prequels that came out, and then the last three that came out, just kind of piggybacks off the Skywalker trilogy and stuff. Can we just get a whole nother, journey for Star Wars, a whole nother adventure? That's kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, somebody has to have a brilliant mind out there to rewrite something. I mean, you don't even have to use, screw it. If you don't want to use the Force, then don't use the damn Force. I don't care. Just give me something new from Star Wars. Hell, you know what? Let's do a trilogy based off a lot of the bounty hunters. A bounty hunter trilogy type movie. Or, I would go for something like that. I mean, USOA is in the house, man. Saying this. I think the Great's been saying it about the Star Wars series.
What was it? Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm. I don't know what's going on, Rudy. They just seem to not get it right. I did think The Mandalorian was pretty good. I feel like I did enjoy that, but a lot of the other stuff's been okay. The movies, not very good, especially those main ones. They did come out with the one I actually enjoyed.
Kenobi.
I thought Kenobi was good. The one that's, it came out like in, what year was it? It's not part of like the quote unquote
Rogue One?
Yeah. I thought that was really good.
Rogue One has its ranking in the name one. That's the best damn Star Wars movie, I think, in my opinion. That's got to be number one, man. Kenobi.
I walked out of that theater thinking, man, that was a really good movie, and the others have been not so well. I don't know what's going. Just bring Lucas back.
He's not going to come back and do shit for Star Wars, man. There's no way he's going to come back and do anything for Star Wars. I will admit, coming out of the theater watching Rogue One, I had major, huge pants rigor mortis coming out of that theater. It was so bad. I watched it like 2 more times, like easily. Take your mic off of mute. You always do that.
I think it's time for me to go watch Rogue One again. I haven't seen it in a while.
You need to. If you need a chub, go watch Rogue One again. You definitely get a chub watching Rogue One again. Eddie's in here, man. Acolytus cheeks, man. Now you got to help me, Jill. You're a kid. I'm not. What is cheeks referring to? I'm the old man. I don't know the slang. I don't know the terminology. Eddie, what is cheeks, man? Cheeks is that
means
good?
ass, Rudy.
It's ass. Okay, we'll leave it at that. It's ass. See, I'm the old man. I don't know this stuff, bro. You gotta forgive me.
Rudy, come on, cheeks. I mean, it's all the same thing,
bro. Look, I mean, come on, bro. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, brother. Look, I'm the USOA. I'm the senior edition of the USOA.
I know you went to high school in the 70s, but come on, you should give yourself more credit.
Well, in the 70s, I was actually born in 79. Can you believe that, dude? If you go by what? Decades, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many decades? Like the 70, 80, 90s. God bless. I've been around for a long ass time. Jesus Christ, man.
And Rudy,
Jesus Christ.
I hope you're around for a long time as well.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I just got done eating. Don't kill me. I just got done eating 3 fajita tacos, but no tortilla, just chicken and 1 beef, and that was it. So I got my protein in for the night, Gio. It's all before 8 o'clock. I'm done. I'm done eating for the night. And of course, Eddie says, ass. I'm a man. I'm 40. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't do the whole, urban language stuff, dude.
Rudy, haven't you heard of urbandictionary.com? I mean,
I have not.
It's something that you can
I have not.
I've been on there before. I'm not going to lie to you.
You kids
there's been some things that have come out. I was like, what does this mean? Not lately within the last few years, but previously it's like, what does that mean? So Urban Dictionary. So for those of you, that's a good source. Rudy, you might want to have that as a bookmark for you next time.
I think I'm going to bookmark Urban Dictionary, right? Let me write that down, bro. I need to write that down because I definitely won't do that. Urban Dictionary. Okay, got it down.
UrbanDictionary.com. You're
never late. You're always on time when it's Sweep the League. So don't ever worry about being late. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Eddie's in the chat. He's schooling me on the urban language, and cheeks does mean ass, according to what Eddie said. Leha's in here now. Leha is the tribal chief. He's the CEO. He is everything when it comes to the USOA. Gio, I got my official shirt from Leha today. Met up with him. Fantastic meeting. I mean, got my shirt. Gio, I'm trying to get you a shirt now. I got to get your shirt. So
I haven't gotten no shirts. I haven't gotten no tea. I haven't gotten anything, Rudy.
Well, the problem is you live far away, man.
I haven't gotten no gift cards. It's
okay. On the gift cards, you can't win. You cannot be a part of Sweep the League and win any gift cards. That's definitely not, man. You can't do anything like that. But yeah, once I get the USOA shirt for you, if you get picked to be in there, you got to be selected. This is like a fraternity. You just can't say I'm a member of USOA. There's guys out there that want to be a part of it, and they're never going to be a part of it ever. But I'm going to vouch for you.
Okay.
So I'll vouch for you and say, you know what? If we can, maybe we can make him a USOA member. If not, sorry, man. I tried, but better luck next time.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to the tea. I'll send you my address, Rudy, as I said last week.
You want to put it in the chat so everybody can send something to you?
I don't want no one to know what part of the hood I live in, Indiana. So.
Man, you live in the rich part of Indiana.
Hey,
I have no doubt.
I live in Gary, Indiana, Rudy, the home of Michael Jackson.
I was going to say Michael Jackson? Isn't Michael Jackson from there?
He is, but I'm not from Gary. I've been close to Gary, but I'm not from Gary, Indiana.
City, not the guy Gary, the city Gary.
Yeah. Okay, the city. The city, everyone, not a guy. No guys
man,
here.
We'll just say when it comes to being a USOA member, I'm just going to say this. being that you're a Duke Blue Devil, we know that when a Duke Blue Devil basketball player gets to the league, it's very tough for them to make it. Being that I'm a Tar Heel, it's almost a guarantee that I'm going to have super success in the NBA. That's why I am a USOA member, because when I got promoted to the big boys, I bring it all the time. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there, man.
So the champion, Tatum.
But Brown was MVP. So, I mean, what can Brown do for you except he can deliver a title?
What's odd about that is Tatum led in every category. So I don't know why he was not the MVP. Very weird. They kept going to him at the camera. And honestly, Rudy, this NBA Finals was a drag. It was boring.
No, it was not.
It was a boring NBA Finals. I'm telling you right now. It was boring, Rudy. It wasn't exciting to me. I was falling asleep half the time. They need to put the NBA Final logo back in the arena on the floor. It didn't even feel like an NBA Finals game. It felt like a Tuesday night.
But Boston had the easy path to the finals. Someone on Twitter put that the Lakers championship for the in-season tournament was more of a title than Boston's fake title.
That seemed more exciting to me. I don't want to talk about the Lakers in that COVID championship or the Mickey Mouse championship.
No, they're talking about the in-season tournament.
I know. I just that team, the in-season tournament. I don't even count that. That's just
the biggest BS I've ever seen.
Look,
biggest BS.
Kudos to Boston. You win number 18, I believe. I saw a comment that said that even Jerry West couldn't see them when they had to pass away. He didn't want them, or he didn't want to see them win. But congrats to them. But Rudy, the NBA Finals, it was boring. It was not exciting. This playoff run has been okay. There were some good games.
Anything about the playoff run? Like the Western Conference didn't have you.
The Western Conference had some edge of seats, but overall, I felt a little disappointed.
I can't convince you, man. I don't know why. I can't convince you. I don't know what's wrong with you. You're in one of those funky moods right now, aren't you? I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I've been watching too much baseball, but well, you're a Mariners fan. It's going to be a crappy season, man. Come on, dude.
Well, we're in first place right now, Rudy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, so that's all that matters. But can they stay in first? That's the question.
They need a few. I think they need maybe two more bats to kind of run. And the pitching has been great tonight. Not so much, but the pitching in general has been phenomenal. So,
all right, I'll give it to you. Mariners are in first, so. We'll leave it at that. We got some NBA news, man. So let's get this NBA bump going. Hopefully this works. But we got some NBA news to get into. And unfortunately, we are going to talk about your favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers. So just keep in mind, we are going to talk about them. Apparently, Gio, the Detroit Pistons did not like the full Monty, as this morning, Monty Williams was dismissed as head coach of the Detroit Pistons. Only after one season where he was dealt a team that was very inexperienced, that was obviously one of the worst in the league, if not the worst team in the league. But it goes to show you that good coaches, successful coaches, they can be canned just about at any time. Monty Williams, man. So the good thing about it is he's going to collect $65 million to just go home, on top of the $20 million that he's being given to by Phoenix for being fired there. So $85 million, man, in a couple of seasons for just now doing nothing. That had to have shocked you when you saw Monty Williams get fired.
Yeah, it's sad. But
it's your boy Trajan Langdon's fault, though. I will admit to that.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to put my it's kind of dark in here. I don't know why. The experiment didn't work out, Rudy. I mean, first of all, the team isn't very good. They had some pieces, but a lot of fans. I talked to a Pistons fan the other day. Just didn't seem to work. It didn't seem like he was interested, Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
some of the lineup changes, not starting Ivy for a while, like just there's too much stuff going on. And politics, at one point he had like a 12-man rotation. Everyone's getting minutes. You get minutes. Everybody gets minutes. Sure, the team sucks, but just play your best players and ride that out. But the chemistry, Rudy, was never really a fit to begin with. To me, he's more of a coach that's win now. I just don't see him wanting to stick around and build. For Pistons organization, Rudy, that's been a hot mess. I mean, it's coaches after coaches coming in and out, and a franchise that I just don't think right now was really made up for Monty Williams to succeed. Did Monty just do it, Rudy, for the money? Probably so.
The most money, the biggest contract the coach has ever received. I mean,
$65 million they owe him, Rudy. $65 million.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to get every penny of it.
He's going to get every penny of it. I just don't. I just didn't make it. It didn't make sense to me. You were better off hiring a no-name person and paying them just a few $1 million a year,
and that's
try to ride the ship.
And that's where it's kind of going. So Louis in here. Shout out to Louis, man. La Cocina food truck, the best food truck in New Braunfels. So don't get mad at me about that, Joe, because I visited Louis from time to time. I have to try the tacos. I'm going to try the tacos there. But once I do, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to take a screenshot. Or not screenshot. I'm going to take a picture and just send it to you in the chat. That way,
we're just showing his age.
Yeah, screenshots. I don't know. It's going to be a picture, man, whatever it is. But nonetheless, shout out to Louis, man. He's saying the WNBA, Caden Clark, was getting more coverage in the NBA Finals, and that's true. That's a whole different subject that we may even be able to tackle here at the end of the show. All the coverage WNBA, to me, there was a significant injury that happened last night that I saw. We'll get into the WNBA coverage here at the end of the show because I do want to bring some stuff up on that. Being fired an NBA coach is awesome. Monty got the bag. Leha's right, dude. Monty got the bag.
Hey, he's got the money. He's all set. He did go through an unfortunate thing that happened to him. What was it? I think he lost his...
That was his wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, back, a few years back.
A few years back, but
he was with New Orleans at the time.
Yeah. So he's coached around. Is he a pop protege, Rudy?
Yeah, he is. So that's kind of where I'm going to go this route here. As soon as I ask this question, right now, it seems like because Trajan Langdon is there, Trajan Langdon wants to build his own coaching staff, obviously. Now, it's a good point that they were brought up on Sirius XM radio earlier when they said that you need ownership's approval to get rid of a coach if you're owed $65 million. I mean, no owner wants to pay $65 million to nobody, and, you're just going to do it as a GM. You can't do that. But then it comes in. You got Langdon as a Duke guy. There's a certain Duke guy being rumored as a coach to LA and JJ Redick. Redick is being thrown out there as a possible replacement for Monty in Detroit. So how does that look? Because you have a very inexperienced team. You're going to go and get an inexperienced coach. Now, the one guy I would recommend is another pop guy, and that's James Borrego, who's still relatively a new coach. He's had experience coaching young teams, obviously with Charlotte. I think that would be the right move. But a Redick to Detroit and he spurns the Lakers, that's the Laker drama, man, because LA's kind of in shambles now after the Dan Hurley thing. Can you make sense of all this stuff going on?
No. Well, it's Hollywood, so it kind of fits in the LA kind of theme of this big old performance. But at the end of the day, JJ Redick, Rudy, what makes him qualified? Just because he talks on a podcast to LeBron and he makes these hot takes. And look, he's a former Duke player, Rudy. He played there. He was definitely hated there when he played. Comes to the NBA. Man, Doc Rivers really let JJ have it not too long ago.
Yeah.
I just don't see where the qualifications is. What makes him a good coach? I mean, look, Steve Nash, he come out of nowhere. Steve Nash got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Is Steve Nash coaching in the NBA? No. And Steve Nash had a lot more credentials, at least as a player, than Redick. I don't know where that goes, Rudy. If he goes to Detroit,
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But if you're going to pay someone to, I guess, put your team together, but I don't know what what does the future hold for Detroit, Rudy? Because right now, at least Dan Campbell had a plan, right? He kept saying, I have a plan, right? I have a plan in place. And we're starting to see, obviously, that plan with Dan Campbell. But what's the plan in Detroit? I have no idea.
When it comes to the Pistons, I mean, what would be the best? What would be the best?
Rudy, how about this guy here? Especially, those young guys when they were there, bringing a Mark Jackson, right? Bringing someone who is not a sexy name. What do you have to lose, Rudy?
Well, you bring in Mark Jackson and he has some success, and then you bring in Steve Kerr at the end to take you to a title. That's the recipe for success.
Mark Jackson's been, as we can agree, blackballed in the NBA. And
I don't know why. I really don't know why.
I think he used to preach sometimes during the week. He has a strong personality, Rudy.
Okay.
It clashes, but I don't understand why you just couldn't give him a chance. Like, not even an interview, Rudy? It just doesn't make any sense. Who cares what he does on his off time? Is that interfering with what the Warriors were looking like? Because they were on
their way.
Rudy, you saw that playoff game against the Spurs that one year. I forgot what year it was, where they put like 130 points in that game one. The Spurs did win the series, but that made you sweat. It's just imagine Mark Jackson in an NBA team, man. He can't get a job nowhere, not even college. Mark might not be able, or doesn't want to go to college, but Mark Jackson would be a great fit in Detroit. Change the culture. To me, Rudy, what you need is a culture, someone to create a culture. Monty Williams, he had just left Phoenix, right?
Well, he just got fired from Phoenix.
Well, yeah. He just got fired from Phoenix. Get some time to rest. He goes to Detroit, which to me just didn't make any sense. But bring in a builder, Rudy, and you might have to bring in a no-name guy. Is Redick that builder, that culture guy? I don't see that. I don't.
So let me throw you a name out there, because I get where you're going. Now, you say a no-name guy. This guy has a name, and it goes back to the times that we've talked about Eric Bieniemy. Why doesn't he get a shot? Maybe he isn't head coach material, and that's why teams don't give him a chance. Maybe they know strictly he's a good OC. But there's a name that gets thrown around in the NBA ranks who's an assistant coach already, but I think deserves a chance, and that's Sam Cassell. You're talking an NBA champion as a player. You're talking a very, very good assistant coach, a guy who knows the game of basketball. Sam Cassell for a young Detroit team finds me a little similar to what Portland's doing. You've got a young team there, but you got Chauncey Billups there, an NBA champion, a guy with the great knowledge of basketball. Now, yes, the first year is not successful in Portland, but you can kind of see the steps Portland was making with Chauncey Billups there. So if I'm Detroit, I'm not so much worried about Redick, because he's not proven. And you're right. All he does is talk. You can talk a big game, but can you really coach? You got James Borrego, who has a head coach experience. He's part of the pop tree. But think outside the box. Sam Cassell is that first guy that I'm calling if I'm Trajan Langdon.
We talked about Sam a few weeks ago. Why does Sam Cassell have a head coaching job? It's just baffled me. Sam's been, as an assistant, Rudy, he's coached in this league for a bit. Mm-hmm. He was a pretty good player in his own right. He led the Clippers' resurgence there. He led to the playoffs with Elton Brand back in the day.
Yeah.
And he is just a smart basketball mind. And Sam Cassell can't get a job. Why? I just don't get it. I don't know why Sam Cassell can't get a job, but Frank Vogel can get a job every week, it seems like. And some of these other retread coaches, just like they do in the NFL, who seem to get jobs all the time. Why? Bring in some fresh blood. Now, Rudy, isn't JB Bickerstaff available?
I was going to just mention his name.
He's another one. And look, he led the resurgence there in Cleveland. Now, from what I heard, Rudy, just him and Mitchell, it sounded like it's Mitchell staying. If he stays, JB's not going to be the coach.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe from what I've been hearing in Cleveland. And they went with the player on that. So JB's gone. I could see him there. He seems to me like a building style coach. They definitely built something in Cleveland, so Rudy, why can't we just get some fresh blood in here and some new coaches? It always seems to be the same coaches. Obviously, there have been assistants. Briggle's interesting, right? Didn't really do well in your boy Michael Jordan's team, Tar Heel. But not too many coaches actually have done particularly well. I know Steve Clifford went to the playoffs a few years ago, but Briggle's interesting. I don't know what the Lakers do, Rudy, but they really don't have a choice. But why don't the Lakers just get Sam Cassell? I mean, what's the problem?
And that's the other thing I was going to go to. I mean, let's be real. Charlotte hasn't been, a factor when it comes to coaches since Alan Bristow from way back then. I mean, that's probably the one guy that's had success in Charlotte. And look at the kids are like, who the hell is Alan Bristow? Well, look him up. Charlotte head coach from a long time ago with wasn't he the guy that was coaching J.R. Reed and Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, a lot of those guys. Dale Curry was there at the time, Morning. I mean, I think he was the head coach there. But you brought it up into the point with Cassell. I mean, there are jobs out there, two in particular, Detroit and the Lakers. And that's what on the banner I have the Lakers drama, because we are heading already in under a week to the NBA draft. You've got two teams, the Lakers and the Pistons, that don't have a head coach. So I'm starting to feel like they need to get somebody in that position pretty quick here. The panic button in LA is probably already ringing. And I'm going to tell you as to why in a minute. Alamo City Podcast Network, Sports and Pop Culture. What's good, fellas? And Real Talk. Should Monty Williams get another shot at being an NBA head coach? Monty Williams' NBA coaching record is below 500, just saying. So I think Monty deserves another shot at a head coach. Don't take his Pistons year and his Phoenix years. Don't really look at those as, unsuccessful times. I mean, he did fine with Phoenix. He did pretty good with Phoenix.
He did get to the finals, had a, I guess, decent run with the Pelicans, Rudy.
Yeah. That
kind of folded once they traded, Anthony Davis. But I don't know. Oh, wait, no. Wasn't Alvin Gentry? Alvin Gentry was there. And then I think, hold up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. Monty
deserves another coach. I think he takes the year off. But, I also think that he should probably, dude, he's got $85 million in the bank already because of those two coaching jobs. Why not just take a seat on Pop's bench as an assistant again and see where that leads? I mean, eventually Pop's going to have to retire. So I think doing that thing, but then again, this is where the panic button comes in. Good. Thank you for the question. I think we both agree that Monty does deserve another shot. What up, guys? Glad to spend time with y'all and hear the discussion. Always, JC, special leave T, man. Especially, got to get Gio that special leave. We got to send it to him. He's going to give me his address. He's going to give me his address, JC. So we're definitely going to give him some. Monty got screwed in Phoenix. It should have been given one more time in Detroit, in my opinion. That's facts, man. This 1 year in Detroit means nothing at all. It's ridiculous to see Monty Williams being fired after one season. I mean, you've got to give a coach time to build a roster and to actually work with the roster. One off season and 1 full year just doesn't cut it half the time. Alamo City Podcast Network, everyone make sure to hit that button, help the like button and help the show grow. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all support, man, for Alamo City Podcast Network. You can see them every morning. I think it's 10 to 11:30. It's Mike and Joe out there. But the thing with the Lakers job, it's panic time, Gio. I mean, you hear the talk about JJ Redick being the front runner. And, JJ and LeBron, they have a podcast together. So everybody's pointing at the whole JJ Redick to the Lakers thing. So what stops them from saying, okay, let me pull back the curtain a little bit. LeBron wants to test free agency. So why the hell should I care what LeBron feels on the team? He may not even be here.
Yeah, so LeBron,
the JJ Redick sign, it's not right.
Did you see? Was it real? I saw a photo of Bronny posted the Dallas Mavericks with LeBron on there.
I don't think Bronny posted it, but right now Dallas is a team that legitimately is considering Bronny James, and I think Bron kind of not hinted, but he'd like to play with Kyrie and Luka. I mean, we've seen the old Kyrie and Bron,
Well, LeBron's an opportunist, so.
Well, yeah, if he can't beat him, join him.
And the Lakers right now, really, it's.
They're in shambles, brother.
They're in shambles. The coaching, it's an organization right now that's not headed in the right direction.
Nope.
So could LeBron be potentially going to Dallas, or what does that look like? But for coaching wise, really, Sam Cassell, Mark Jackson, I guess if LeBron's there, might not be the greatest fit, but just let someone coach and stop firing guys after just a few seasons all the time. Because you had Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, he led you to the Western Conference Finals, really, just a year ago. And the man gets fired, becomes a scapegoat.
It's a scapegoat. But what is the one common denominator? It's the king. It's this generation's greatest of all time.
He's not mine. I've said it for years. LeBron James is not the GOAT. But anyway,
he's not even on my Mount Rushmore of GOATs, man.
Well, look, I mean, listen, he's the look, Rudy, say what you want.
Say it. I know you want to say it. I see it.
All-time leading scorer.
Okay, who cares?
And look, that does mean something. And if is Kareem on your Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
And he was the all-time leading scorer. I mean, you got to think LeBron is right there.
No. Kareem, Russell, Jordan, and give me anybody else, but not LeBron. I don't have LeBron.
You see, you're not you're hating on LeBron, and then you're just
for what reason?
Because you don't like what he's done potentially to the game of basketball. But if you look at the numbers, hey, I mean, the all-time leading scorer should mean something, Rudy.
It means you're the all-time leading scorer.
So what did Kareem do that LeBron didn't do?
Not shoot a three.
So we're going to penalize LeBron because...
No, I'm not penalizing LeBron.
The three-point shot has now been kind of the thing. And as great as Kareem was, Kareem had a hell of a roster.
But so now you're going to put Kareem's roster.
No, if we're going to nitpick,
he was the all-time leading scorer at one time.
If we're going to nitpick, we do.
So LeBron hasn't had a roster.
He didn't have.
Come on now.
What Kareem had. He had Magic Johnson.
Okay.
James Worthy.
Okay.
And everybody else in between.
So LeBron's most successful season without help was with Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Daniel Gibson, the Cleveland Cavaliers team that went to the finals and lost to the Spurs. Remarkably, that was his most successful season without help. Now look at the other times he's had help. I mean, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He had Ray Allen there as well. I mean, okay, there's help there. That's the same kind of culture as Kareem with Magic and with Worthy. I mean, we can't, if we're going to get, picky about stuff, Kareem was just a part of one team too. I mean, LeBron went back to Cleveland. He was with Kyrie. Great. You wanted a title for Cleveland. But I mean, for God's sakes, you can't tell me that he did not have help. He had help, man.
No. I'm saying that Kareem's help in the eras that we're comparing, his help seemed to be a lot. Not that Chris Bosh is not great, but Chris Bosh is not James Worthy either.
No, not James Worthy.
Or Magic Johnson. So, look, we can nitpick all day about what players. LeBron did, though, beat a team who won 72 wins and was also down 3-1 in the series. So
I will not. Okay, so it's not hating on LeBron. It truly is not hating on LeBron. And greatest of all time talk, Mount Rushmore talk. Your top 10, my top 10. Your top 5, my top 5. It's always a debate, and it's always a debate that ends in people getting pissed off at each other. And that's the sad part is you can never have debate with people, and I'm not saying you and I, but you can never have debate with people because it pisses people off, just like the Jordan and the LeBron talk. Who's the GOAT? I really don't care who the GOAT is, to be honest with you. I enjoy the game of basketball so much that it doesn't bother me if you think LeBron's a GOAT. It doesn't bother me if you think Jordan's a GOAT. I have my pick who's the GOAT, and most of you agree. Most of you will not agree, but it is what it is. I mean.
Well, look, I always say MJ's been the GOAT, so I've always contended that's my GOAT. But LeBron, look, when he retires, Rudy, those stats, and sure, as inflated as some of those stats are probably simply because he's played longer, right? Like Larry Bird didn't play as long as
Imagine
LeBron
if Bird
James
played as long as LeBron James. Bird's a totally different story, dude.
The fitness, the nutrition, all that as well plays a fact. Like they just weren't doing things as LeBron pays what, $1 million a year on nutrition, so he's definitely putting in a lot of work in his body. Wasn't there a rumor that LeBron took steroids? Was that a few years ago, Rudy?
That he was on steroids?
Or he's taken steroids before, which honestly, I wouldn't be all that surprised.
Then he's not a Hall of Famer. If we're going by steroid usage, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Well, no, that's
Can we agree on that?
Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame.
You want to keep one of my GOATs out of the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds, but if LeBron was on steroids, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
You're preaching to the choir, Rudy.
I know.
Barry should be in the Hall of Fame a long time. Roger Clemens. And I think Sammy Sosa, who never tested positive, he should be in as well.
Oh, my God, Sammy. We're going to argue about the Sammy Sosa thing
Rudy,
forever.
that man hit over 600 home. I mean, look, I say what you want about Sammy, but the man never tested positive, and he consistently was a good hitter. Obviously, after what was it, 90s, the summer of love in Chicago, 98, 97 or whatever.
So he's a Hall of Famer based on that many years of play.
Really, just the home runs.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He had that success right in his. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong, but his success was only during the steroid era.
Well,
can we agree on that?
I mean, he played for the last few years with the Cubs were still particularly good. I mean, 03, he had 100 RBIs.
No, I'm not saying he didn't put up numbers, but his success came in the steroid era, in that little steroid blip of an era. That's where his most success came out.
So then do you penalize any player from that era who gets in today?
Well, you're penalizing guys like Bond, who was way better. He was one of the best players in baseball before San Francisco when he was in Pittsburgh. McGuire, not so much a great Oakland Athletic. He was good as an athletic. But again, McGuire's success came in that blip of a steroid era. His most success.
Yeah. So McGuire, a little different for me just because Mark I believe he was using he was using an Oakland.
Canseco basically outed everybody, man.
He pretty much outed everybody. And Rudy, that list from what was it? That other list, 2009, right? Of the players notable. Guess who's on that? So obviously Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah.
Brett Boone's on that list. Obviously, Jose Canseco, Roger Clemens is on that list.
David Ortiz.
David Ortiz, Eric Gagne, a man who had a hell of a streak, closing streak. Juan Gonzalez, Rudy.
Yeah. That's what we're saying.
David Justice. I mean, all these players, it's just, and Manny Ramirez should be in the Hall of Fame. If you're going to keep out Barry, then you need to keep out everybody because Mike Piazza was alleged. Mm-hmm. Jeff Bagwell, alleged. I don't understand what are we doing here?
You're, like I said, you made the comment earlier. You're preaching to the choir. If you're going to keep Barry out, why in the hell is Ortiz there? The guy's name was on the damn list. If you're keeping everybody off in that list or on that list, then why is Ortiz not? Didn't he get banned from it? It makes zero sense whatsoever. That is the biggest thing about baseball. I understand that pretty much all the baseball writers, they were still alive in the Civil War, but you've got to get different people voting on this shit, man. It's comical even to see a guy, and we keep mentioning his name, even to see a guy like Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame. He is a baseball legend for what he did on the field. I can care less what he did as a manager. If you want to bet. I don't care. Betting, and he's not going to get in as a manager. He's going to get in as a player.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
To me, it's just mind-boggling. You have all these other guys, and I've talked about Pudge. Pudge was in Texas. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of steroid stuff going on in Texas at that time.
Gonzalez, Pudge, Palmeiro.
Yeah, I was saying Palmeiro. So how does he get in? And then Alex, and I know people don't like Alex Rodriguez. I get all that. But how does Pudge get in? That is just simply mind-boggling to me. If you're going to not put Alex in, then he should not get in at all.
Exactly. That's what I don't get. I mean, you've got a lot of known guys and who are on a list, the Balco list, and they're getting in. But the guys who actually mattered and who actually put up consistent stats over and over again don't even get a sniff. That's terrible. Should David Justice never be in the Hall of Fame for fumbling the bag with Halle Berry? I think if you have Halle Berry in your back pocket and you fumbled that, you should be banned from any sport ever, period. So that's my USOA comment for the night on that, basically.
Yeah, it's a thing, Rudy. I think we talk about it every year. We talk about it at least once about Barry should be in the Hall. You have all these other guys that's in the Hall. Look, Curt Schilling, they just don't like him personally. He's another one. They don't like him personally. And yeah, Kurt's, I'm not going to say it on air, but he is who he is. But it shouldn't matter. He should be in the Hall of Fame. It just blows my mind. Mm-hmm. Miguel Tejada is another one. Now he's obviously not in the Hall of Fame, but he was on there too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
my case for Sammy is simple, Rudy. Though
that's a tough one, man. Go ahead.
Look. You can say what you want to say about Sammy, but the man put up numbers, whether it was in the steroid era or not, and I think he should get in simply off of hitting over 600 home runs, which is crazy to me because you still got to hit the ball, Rudy. You still have to hit. Not everybody hits 600 home runs like Sammy did.
No, I agree. And, that's why I've always told you, as skeptical as I am for putting Sosa in the Hall of Fame, the case can be made for him going in. The home run case definitely is a big seller for him getting in. It's just he came out of nowhere, basically. I mean, he was a White Sox before he was with the Cubs. But, I mean, it's like he came out of nowhere, and it just so happened to be in that little era. And that's kind of where it's more foggy for me, to where when you had guys like Bonds, who was putting up numbers in Pittsburgh well before the Giants and before this whole era was going on.
Well, Rudy, looking at Sammy's stats, look, take it for what it was.
Hold off on stats real quick. Hold off on stats. Let's go to commercial break here. Got to get some of your comments. Louis definitely made it more fun. Legalize it. Yeah, I may as well legalize it. I mean, you got to still hit the ball. Baseball is a sport of cheating. That's the name of the game. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That is my motto. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. When I run for governor, Leia says, F them, we bet. Yeah, that is for sure. Controversy sells is what Sith is saying. This is Sweep the League. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, more baseball talk, maybe a little bit of WNBA talk. But again, Gio's going to give me the stats on Sammy Sosa. Can he convince me that Sosa is a Hall of Famer? We'll see on the flip side. This is Sweep the League. Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be right back. Living in South Texas, we know tacos are king, especially in the San Antonio and surrounding areas. So if you want the best, then go get the best. La Cocina Taco Truck, located at 283 West San Antonio Street, New Braunfels, Texas, where Louie and his staff are cooking up the most amazing and greatest street tacos you can ever imagine. There is no order too big or too small for Louie and his staff to get going and get ready for you. La Cocina Taco Truck, again, 283 West San Antonio Street, New Braunfels, Texas. They are open Thursday through Sunday evenings. And again, if you want the best, you've got to go to the best. That's La Cocina Taco Truck, partners of Sweep the League. MCS General Contracting is here to make life easy for you. Rudy Campos Jr. for Sweep the League, coming to you for MCS General Contracting. Chris Leha and the boys are out to provide the absolute best service and quality work. Whether it's that perfect patio in the backyard or possibly the front yard, or you need that durable driveway, well, you know it's hot in San Antonio majority of the time, so what about that long-awaited swimming pool you've been wanting to get? Contact the boys over at MCS General Contracting. They will take care of everything that you need, and I guarantee you they are the best in the business. MCS General Contracting, partners of Sweep the League. Yeah, shout out to MCS General Contracting, La Cocina Taco Truck, La Cocina Food Truck, actually, in New Braunfels, both partners of Sweep the League. Man, MCS General Contracting, they have the diamond hard decks, is what we've been saying. You need the concrete work. Definitely hit them up. You need a basketball court. Gio, I know you want a swimming pool up in Indiana. I don't think they go that far, but definitely want a swimming pool. Driveway work, concrete work, no matter what it is, Chris and the boys got you. And let's not forget La Cocina Taco Truck. Definitely the best taco truck in New Braunfels, guys. You want to hit them up Thursday through Sunday. Tell Louie that Sweep the League sent you, man. He's going to make those tacos extra special for you. That's La Cocina Food Truck over in New Braunfels, man. So you're trying to convince me, first off, that Sammy Sosa is a Hall of Famer. You said you had stats. Well, give me the stats.
Look, I just want to say this. In 1995, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sammy finished 8th in the NL in MVP voting.
Okay. That's 8.
He also, hey, that's still, Rudy, pretty good for a guy who then the year before actually hit 300 for the Cubs, 261 the year before. He's actually improving every single year. But look, I'm not saying that Sammy numbers beforehand were obviously the numbers that he had after he left the game, but he did win a Silver Slugger in 95, and he finished 8th in the NL in MVP voting. And then the next year he finished 15th, and then 20. And obviously the 98 is when he scratched. All I'm saying is you got to put Sammy in because you have other guys that are in there. Barry is – look, if Barry's stats before the alleged steroid use is ridiculous. If he just decided to retire, Rudy –
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And that's the thing with Sammy is, like I said, I know I keep mentioning it's in that little era, but if you're going to give me MVP numbers, and 8th was the highest that he finished in the MVP race.
No. That was just that in 95. He ended up winning the MVP in 98.
Yeah, 98. Okay, yeah. I was going to say. So he's got an MVP. That makes a bigger case for Sammy to be in the Hall. I'll say that.
And he finished 9th. He finished 9th 3 other times. And he also finished 2nd and then won 8th. I mean, look, that's pretty good, Rudy. That's all I'm saying, man. And in 95, he made an All-Star game before the steroid use, so he could have been taking it right then and there. But I think the whole Cousins argument, Rudy, is you can't keep people away from cheating if you've already have people in the Hall
who have cheated.
That's my biggest argument. If you don't want Sosa in, I'm fine with that, Rudy. All I'm saying is you gotta let some of these guys in already. Just stop with this. They're just ridiculous.
So okay,
David Ortiz is in, Rudy.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's terrible that Ortiz is on that list and he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's terrible.
According to the Boston fans, well, it wasn't the main list. I don't care.
It was a list. His name was on a list
regardless. And look, David didn't take the best shape. I mean, the best, care of his shape. Now, he was a heavy hitter. He could hit. But he's on that list regardless. And Tejada's on there. Eric Gaine's on there. A lot of people who are on there are also in the Hall of Fame. So take it for what it's worth.
Going back to Sosa and Locked On Spurs in here, Sosa shouldn't be in the Hall for turning into Pepto-Bismol. Yeah.
Well, look, I did say a few weeks ago that can they find Sammy because that man has changed his color. Sammy, why? He looked fine when he had the darker complexion.
Apparently, bro went and changed his nationality thinking he'd be forgiven for Sosa. I go, man. That's crazy, right? Like everything with Sammy. So the thing with Sammy is this, Joe. If you say he's Hall of Fame worthy, you and I, we go back and forth. And I will agree with you. A lot of the stats back him up. But before he gets in, there are so many other players that need to be in first.
Oh, yeah. No. I completely agree. Barry Bonds, Clemens should get in. Schilling should get in.
Pete Rose definitely needs to be in.
Pete Rose
on that hill
definitely needs to get in. Gary Sheffield, he needs to get in, and he's a ledge as well, right? Rudy, I believe.
I think so.
He has the stats. Listen, Alex Rodriguez, he needs to get in too. It's plain and simple. Yeah, he choked a lot in the playoffs, but that has nothing to do with statistics will back him up. He needs to get in.
Yeah.
But I always have to go back to Mike Mussina got in the Hall of Fame before any of these guys. It's a travesty. And no disrespect to Mussina, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Y'all owners need to stop, man. You need to stop doing that. Stop it.
I'm telling you, these guys are old heads, man. I can't believe we're getting these old guys still voting. Now, one guy that should be in is Bobby Bonilla, and that's because he gets paid $1 million at least every year for like the damn near next 50-something years.
Well, you know that the Reds...
He's not a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Well, no. The Reds are still paying Ken Griffey, I believe, Rudy, with his contract.
So. Yeah, but Griffey needs to get paid regardless of wherever, man. Why is it, before we go to the next subject, why is it that a week ago, a buddy of mine who lives in Cincinnati, when I used to live in Ohio, we started talking baseball. Random ass question. He's like, did you ever watch the Reds from back in the day? And I said, yeah, I did. He goes, I bet you couldn't name me 3 Cincinnati Reds. And I'm like, easy. Barry Larkin, 1. He goes, well, that's a gimme. I said, okay. Eric Davis, Chris Sabo, those are 2 more guys. And I used to love Sabo with the goggles. I mean, that was a big thing back then. I used to wear goggles when I played basketball.
Well, Joe Morgan, right?
Well, Joe Morgan's way before then. He was talking about like those 90 teams, those 80 teams, 90 teams. But yeah, I was like Eric Sabo, Eric Davis, Chris Sabo, Barry Larkin. I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Norm Charleston one of the pitchers there? Rob Dibble was another one that was in there. He was a hell of a closer. So he was like, wow, I didn't think you did. I was like, well, yeah, I followed it back in the day. Shit. If it wasn't for the Giants, I probably would have been a Padres fan because I loved me some Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn is probably the best pure hitter to ever play the game. And I know Mickey Mantle. I hear the Joe DiMaggio stories. Tony was the
numbers. His numbers, Rudy, is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy could hit in the day, and he got to one World Series, right, Rudy, against the Yankees. Came up short against the old evil empire as they were kind of reigning in the late 90s. But Tony Gwynn was a phenomenal player. One of those guys, Rudy, that we talk about players wanting to stay their whole career with the franchise for the most part. Mm-hmm. Tony Gwynn would have, just imagine him with a Braves uniform or some of those other teams in the 90s. Man,
I'll give you a team where I always envisioned him going, and I don't know why, or not going, but one team that I watched growing up a little bit and where I was like, man, Tony on this team, they would have been pretty unbeatable. And remember, go back to Minnesota with Kirby Puckett and Paul Molitor, adding Tony Gwynn to that roster. And then you still had pitching with Jack Morris. I mean, that Minnesota team with Tony Gwynn on there, man, that would have been a sick Minnesota squad. And they played the Braves, I believe, and I think they ended up beating the Braves, I think, in one of those World Series, if I'm not mistaken.
Did you say the Reds? Or did you say...
No, Minnesota, the Twins.
They did. So, well, I mean, really, the Braves went to, 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was like the Buffalo Bills run or something.
They won. Finally, really, the Braves should have won. If you go look back at their runs, and those teams with Smoltz and Glavine, this is just ridiculous.
The pitching was, oh my God, the pitching, dude. Glavine, Smoltz, Steve Avery was another one. Maddox, I think, was there at the time. I mean, the 5-man rotation that they had, 4 or 5-man rotation, was bonkers, man. And then you had hitters row. You had David Justice, Ron Gant, Terry Pendleton, Sid Bream. The list goes on and on, man. It was just murderers row for the Braves teams around that time.
Really, it's just a travesty that you only get one. And, the Yankees, look, in 91, they played the Twins, right? Mm-hmm. And that was a 7-game series, so comes down to, but man, they should have, that was the team of the 90s, honestly. Obviously, the Yankees ended up winning at the end there, late 90s, but the Braves won World Series. And in that run, too, though, Rudy, the Blue Jays won 2, right?
I believe so, yeah, because that was the Joe Carter home run against the Phillies. What was the other? I can't remember the other one offhand, but I know the Carter one. That was his home run off Mitch Williams.
I think the Phillies, I think they beat the Phillies.
Well, that was the Phillies game because it was against Mitch Williams.
Yeah. So
Mitch Williams. Carter hit the home run over Mitch Williams.
I'm trying to think because 94 was a lockout year, Rudy? Was 94 the lockout year?
I think so, man. I think so.
Some of that gets obviously a little fuzzy because obviously I was a kid, but yeah, it's.
I was going to say, I thought you said because I was doing. We're not going to say that.
No, the Braves and also the 2001 Mariners, they should have won. That was the team that won 116 games. Lou Piniella, and you lose to the freaking Yankees, of course.
Dude, those Mariner squads, we've said it a million times. I loved them. Jay Buhner, Tino Martinez, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Rodriguez, Randy Johnson, starting pitcher there.
Randy. Yeah, and obviously Ichiro came after Rudy and just wasn't
enough.
Wasn't. They didn't give Ichiro really, I mean, Rudy, those years after that, as a fan, was absolutely brutal.
Is it safe to say that the 90s and 80s baseball, that's probably got to be some of the best put together squads that we've seen probably in baseball history? That whole era right there. I mean, you look at the
Oakland A's. I mean, the run they had there in the late 80s.
What was it? McGuire, Canseco, Dave Stewart was a pitcher, Ricky Henderson. Who was the other? Eckersley was their closer. You're right. I mean, good God, man. Then you go LA, the Dodgers with their pitching was Hershiser, Fernando Valenzuela. I mean, they had a squad back then too. I mean, geez, man, it's. I miss that baseball. I miss those days of baseball. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a different time, Rudy. I mean, the game has changed. They got to do something with these umpires. And I know you made fun of what I was. I said something on Twitter, but I watch these games. It's like this is just bad call, and it's on both sides. I'm not just trying to say, that the Mariners are getting on the calls. It's just, dude, come on. And then Hernandez is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And the problem is the freaking union.
Well, Hernandez is gone. Angel Hernandez is gone. He's retired. But he was forced, which I'm glad.
They said, hey, you need to stop, dude, because what you're doing is terrible. Also, Rudy, the 90s also gave us the Florida Marlins. I forgot to mention the one random team.
Sheffield, Bobby Bonilla.
Man.
Charles Johnson was their catcher. Oh, God, I can't remember everybody from the team, but you're right. There was a random – Moises Alou was a part of that team.
Yeah.
I mean –
yeah, and that's another team, people, the Cleveland Guardians now, but that's another franchise, Rudy, who just continued to have bad luck.
Yeah, I remember those. Albert Bell, man, he was a beast back in the day.
Rudy, what he would fight you, right? If I recall, that guy would actually fight you, like literally in the street or on the baseball diamond. Bell would fight you.
It was Albert Bell. Jim Thome was a part of those squads.
That's right, Thome. Oh my
God, Thome.
Is he in the Hall, Rudy?
I believe he is. I have to look it up, but I believe he is.
I think he's another alleged.
No. Okay, I will fight for Jim Thome.
Is Jim Thome on the alleged list?
Hold on. Let me check something out here because I will fight all day for a Jim Thome. Jim Thome he was one of my favorite baseball players. Definitely was. He is in the Hall of Fame. Got inducted in 2018. So recent Hall of Fame guy. So Jim Thome is in there. 612 home runs. I mean, yeah, he deserves it. He deserves it. Here's a quick question, man. We're going to end the show here in a little bit. Rudy, is MLB more reachable than the NFL for San Antonio? I think so. MLB makes a lot more sense for San Antonio when it comes to a pro team. I probably could see MLB here way before the NFL. Please don't bring up Angel Hernandez again. Yeah, Angel Hernandez. Good riddance, Angel here. We got one last segment here. Let me bring up the bump, and then we're out of here, Gio. So the WNBA bump that we're bringing up right now is this right here. Cameron Brink went out with an injury yesterday. Came out today. She has a torn ACL, I believe. And to be honest, man, as much popularity and as much love as Caitlin Clark's been getting, she's probably going to be one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year. I actually liked Cameron Brink as being one of those front runners as well. Kind of sucks. I haven't seen the reports if she's out for the season, which I'm assuming she is with a torn ACL. But that's a huge loss for the league in general because Cameron Brink, it's kind of weird. She brought it on the court, but she was like just her demeanor, her personality off the court as well. I was like, man, I'm a fan of Cameron Brink. I really, truly am a fan of Cameron Brink. It sucks that she's not going to be able to play for the rest of the season. But when it comes to the WNBA, man, I know we see a whole lot of the Caitlin Clark. I know we see a whole lot of the Angel Reese. I've seen everybody talk about it. I tend not to talk about it because at the end of the day, basketball is basketball. I mean, you're going to be a dirty player. You're going to be a dirty player. You're going to be targeted. You're going to be targeted. It happens in every sport, man. We see it in every sport. It doesn't get magnified as much as it does in the WNBA right now, but we see it in just about every single sport. When you have a generational type talent come in, guys are going to go at him, girls are going to go at her. It happens all the time. We see Draymond Green in the NBA as being the bad boy in the NBA right now. We saw an entire team of the Pistons be that way. So we've seen it in the past, and we've seen it even recently in other sports. Why is it so magnified in the WNBA? That's my biggest question.
I think really it's the Caitlin Clark effect. I think everyone's honing in, right? I mean, we saw what she did at Iowa, and not just her, really. The women's college basketball, we can agree, was more exciting to watch than the men's side. And it has actually been for the last several years. But the players who have come out, and Cameron Brink, shout out to her, saw her play a little bit at Stanford there last season, and she's another one that's starting to come of age. I'm interested in really, do you think that the fact that the WNBA season is so close to the of the college basketball? I mean, really, it just ended. Like, literally, it felt like yesterday, college basketball ends, the WNBA draft, and then boom.
Yeah.
I don't think they had enough time to rest. Caitlin Clark has mentioned, she's like, I'm just trying to get myself up, because the Fever schedule has actually been kind of crazy if you actually take a look at it from a kind of a bird's eye view, how many games they played, and just the national attention, all that stuff. So the WNBA got to fix that, because you get drafted, Rudy, and then you're playing like within like a month. It felt like it was boom, 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 like bam. And could have been a little bit wear and tear, Cameron, because the college basketball season is pretty long too. So, but Rudy, the WNBA is getting all this attention. And look, as someone who lives in Indiana, obviously Caitlin Clark is here. I will be watching a game very, very soon of hers. And it's just kind of been that effect, right? They're talking about her every 5 seconds. Rudy, she wasn't a part of the Olympics, but now she is, correct? I thought I saw. I
haven't seen that come out yet. I know she was left off the squad.
I thought
at the beginning.
I think she might be a reserve, if I'm not mistaken. I may need to check that out. But Rudy,
she's definitely a reserve. I mean, if anything was to happen,
all the talk has been the WNBA, even more than the NBA Finals. Rudy, I feel like I'm hearing more about Caitlin Clark and this and that, and she's kind of becoming the darling. She hasn't said anything, Rudy. I would love for her to give someone like a little Shaq elbow. She
has. Come on.
But she needs a little bit more force, though, you know? So, like how Shaq did to the Dikembe Mutombo, you know? Bam.
Okay, so, I mean, let's not paint a halo over Caitlin Clark. I mean, she has had some dirty plays.
I watch a lot of these games, Rudy, and she's getting, I don't want to say beat up, but, man, like, she's getting roughed up.
I don't agree with that part, but
I would love to see her one day just say, you know what? No, you're not doing this to me. But she won't. That's not her. And she hasn't said much, Rudy. You know what? Kudos to her. Hey, she hasn't said barely anything. Her team is trash. But look,
that's been my biggest thing, is the fact of why, if your star player is getting beat up and is getting hammered left and right.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you not there in her defense? And I don't know what goes on in the locker room. I don't know how the girls feel about Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I don't cover the WNBA in that kind of depth. But just by a observer looking at the games and watching, I catch myself. And before Caitlin Clark, I was watching WNBA games. I'm not going to lie. I'm not one of these guys that is too macho to admit that I don't watch WNBA and I make all these jokes, whatever. I don't do that. I watch basketball because I love the game of basketball. And I, for one, am a person that feels that the women's game, whether it be basketball or even in bowling, I watch bowling as well for women. It's pure. It's a pure game. I mean, it's what you see in a high school game, by men playing. Middle school game?
Yeah, it's definitely on the fundamentals. I will say, though, I did see a game, Rudy, where I felt like all I saw was turnovers. And maybe it was just a game. Now that does happen a lot in the NBA. I will say, though, I think I know why that's happening, Rudy. A lot of these girls play overseas, too. And then they come to the WNBA and it's like, different players, different teams. So I feel like if they paid the players more, Rudy, if they could, obviously, and the players were more kind of in home together, but a lot of them play overseas for most of the year until they come back in the summer. And it's like, well, now I have new teammates kind of. So a lot of that also plays an effect to some of maybe the turnovers you see. But Rudy, I've enjoyed watching it. It's been fun. I haven't, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I haven't watched a lot of WNBA. I feel like I watch more college basketball just because of the whole March Madness thing. But it's been a hot topic, and I'm interested to see Caitlin Clark's career kind of flourish. Give her an off season, Rudy. Give her one off season where
she can rest.
She can rest. She's training. She's gonna get. She talked about the other day on TV. Hey, I want to lift more weights. So wait till she builds into her body, and because that girl could shoot, man. That's a range, Rudy. And stop hating Diana Taurasi. Stop it. You're
me?
No, Diana Taurasi.
I was like, okay.
Well, you like to hate too, but not on this topic. But Diana Taurasi, I'm sick and tired of you. Look, just leave her alone. Yes, she's gonna make more money than you this year, than you have your entire career. But who cares? Let it go. You were a great player. You're like 45 years old, holding on. Just give it up. Damn.
And that is Gio's rant for the evening, man. Dang. So basically, Locked On Spurs, Jeff is in here saying if you'll be there for Cameron Brink as she's injured, getting her comfort and post injury. So I wasn't going that way for the Cameron Brink talk, but I mean, it kind of is what it is.
No,
man.
I will not. I don't live in LA.
In LA.
So I would not be there.
If Caitlin was hurt, you'd be there because she's down the street from you because you live in the rich part of Indiana. So
I don't live in. Well, I actually do live in a nice part, but not the rich part, but a nice part.
Nice part. Okay, so it's a nice part. What's up, Tim Gonzalez? Thank you for joining in. Yeah, we did go early tonight. We went about 8:15 or so. So we're gonna wrap up the show. If you're Caitlin Clark's man and she is better than you, well, that makes you a loser.
Ah, come on, Mario. No.
Okay. Hey, you know what? If I'm Caitlin Clark's, husband and she's whooping my butt in basketball,
I don't care. She's bringing home the bacon, Rudy. I would not care. Listen, he could bust me up all day in basketball. So
exactly. What do you want for dinner, Caitlin? I'm making it every single day. I am the house husband or whatever it is. I have no problem with that. But yeah, man, shout out to Mario Cavazos. Thanks for you two guys coming in. Overall, man, the WNBA game, I think it's going to take a little bit more. It's going to take another season. And let's not forget next year's draft class coming in. It's still loaded. I mean, I believe Juju Watkins is going to be a part of that draft class. You still got
she's
more.
A good player.
Yeah, you've got more players. So
the girl from Connecticut, what's her name?
Paige Beckers is coming out as well. So
she's another one.
We're seeing like the players like Taurasi and them, that whole era starting to go, a little bit out the door. And then you're starting to see the new players come in. I love the generation with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. You got Cameron Brink, you got Liz Pali in Minnesota. You got a lot of players that I like that have come out this season, a lot of young players. Rickey Jackson is another one. There's a lot of great players, and you're starting to see more coming out of this next WNBA draft. So kudos to these girls coming out, man. Shout out again to Ariana Robertson putting up 14 points in 14 minutes. She's from San Antonio, Gio. She's going to that terrible school down the street from North Carolina. So just an FYI, Ariana Robertson, Paige Beckers. I was at church service. Sorry, but no worries, man. Sorry, Tim. We decided to go early tonight, but we should be back at regular time. Maybe tomorrow, unless we go early again. But real quick reminder, guys, thank everybody for joining us in. But reminder, next Wednesday, the Wednesday coming up, is NBA Draft Night. Sweep the League is going to be with you Wednesday night for the first round of the WNBA, of the NBA Draft, 2024 NBA Draft. Who are the San Antonio Spurs picking at 4-8? We're going to cover it, every single pick for the first round. We've got you covered. We're going to give you analysis. We're going to give you our thoughts. If any trades are being made, we're going to break the news to you. Anything and everything for that NBA Draft, you will get it from us here at Sweep the League, as we will be live. We'll do a post-game, post-draft show, a pre-draft show. We will do the regular draft show when it starts, and then we'll probably do a post-draft show as well. So be sure to keep your eyes and ears open for that information coming out. But again, Wednesday coming up, the NBA draft is upon us. Sweep the League has you covered wall to wall. Gio hasn't been a part of that in a good minute. So we're relaunching the draft coverage. NFL again next year, and then now we're starting the NBA this year, man. So,
where's the draft in the NFL next year going to be? Is it in? They named it. Is it Kansas City?
I believe so.
I thought I saw.
I have no idea, man.
Kansas City. Kansas City got to stay out of the damn news. The damn Chiefs players. Jeez.
You save that thought for the next show because, Kansas City needs to stay out of the news and build the damn stadium for Kansas City, people. Come on, you're really going to let a Chiefs team go that's been winning all these Super Bowls?
Well, listen, the owner...
Grow some balls, bro.
Dude, stop asking the city. Stop asking the city to pay for these teams. Go pay for them. You got a lot of money. Apparently, he has an apartment in the actual stadium or some sort of, condo. Dude, just pay for it.
If I'm the owner, I say I will meet y'all halfway. I'll pay half. The city pays half. How's that? To me, that's fair. That's got to be fair. I think it's fair. Nonetheless, man, it's Wednesday. We made it halfway through. Shout out to USOA. We got to get Gio a shirt. So we got to get Gio a shirt if he's in. Again, I know these Duke players aren't always, legitimately in. You have to be a Tar Heel to be guaranteed to get in USOA. But if he's in, we'll definitely let you know, Gio. We'll let you know we make the cut, man. Definitely let you know we make the cut. Next time I ask Gio and they made a question about the free agency, next time Gio's on, definitely save your question for him. I just want to be safe in the ring. Yes, sir, JC, you be safe. Everybody out there, be safe in the rain here in San Antonio. It's supposed to be raining cats and dogs all the way till Friday. But for now, Gio and I swept the league. We swept everything we could tonight until we see you guys again, which would be tomorrow. We'll see you later, knuckleheads.